Yasu Malakedo. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. Seeing red. Coca-Cola. Now, for those of you who don't know what Coca-Cola is, I mean, come on, you gotta be fucking out of it at this point. I mean, as soon as you go into New York City, Times Square, that sign has been there since the beginning of time. It's one of the most recognized symbols of all time. Red, white, it is the classic pop. I've never gone to a bar and said, hey, ma'am or sir, do you mind if I get a rum and Pepsi? No. It's a rum and Coke. They've nailed the market. Coca-Cola is the number one pop of all time. But how did it get to be the number one cola of all time? Thank you, Mr. Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, for your help. Coca-Cola, or Coke, is a carbonated soft drink manufactured by the Coca-Cola Company. Originally marketed as a temperance drink and intended as a patent medicine. It was invented in the late 19th century by John Stith Pemberton and was bought out by businessman Asa Griggs Candler. I hope I'm saying these names right, guys. Anyways, whose marketing tactics led Coca-Cola to its dominance of the world soft drink marketed throughout the 20th century? The drink's name refers to of its original ingredients, coca leaves and cola nuts, a source of caffeine. The current formula of Coca-Cola remains a trade secret, although a variety of reported recipes and experimental recreations have been published. Keep in mind, guys, you can go on the internet right now and pretty much find anything. If you can make a 3D penis out of a 3D printer, I'm pretty sure you can find the recipe for Coca-Cola. You can find out the 12 spices in KFC there. It's out there, guys. It doesn't matter. And again, it doesn't matter if I get these guys' names wrong or right. They're billionaires, okay? God only knows how much it takes to make a simple bottle of Coca-Cola. Actually, you know what? I actually do know this because I used to work for Coca-Cola. We're going to get more into that later. But at the time, it was the early thousands. And I did find out that at the time, it was a 600 milliliter bottle, which over the years, they made into 591 milliliters. A lot of people didn't even notice that, but those 9 milliliters, it adds up. And to make one of those bottles, I believe it costs maybe 2-3 cents. A 2-liter bottle, maybe close to 10 cents. That's it, guys. And then you go to stores. How much do they charge for it? $2, $2.50, $3. Depends where you go. Depends if you go to a high-end Shoppers Drug Mart. Depends if you go to a low-end Food Basics. Who knows? But either way, it's just water. But it's beautiful sugar water. I'm getting off topic here. Let me get back to my thing here. The Coca-Cola Company produces concentrated, which is then sold to licensed Coca-Cola bottlers throughout the world. The bottlers who hold exclusive territory contracts with the company produce the finished product in cans and bottles from the concentrate in combination with filtered water and sweeteners. Now, me personally, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I prefer a can Coca-Cola. When you hear the sweet sound of tss, that's when the flavor starts. 2-liter, it's okay. The glass bottle, it's got that weird taste. Are we really going to pay that much more extra to have our Coca-Cola in glass? Is this 1973? I don't think so. It's not worth it. To me, it's always better in cans. Now, a typical 12 US fluid ounce, 350 milliliters, can contains 38 grams, that's 1.3 ounces of sugar, usually in the form of high fructose corn syrup. Everything that makes everything taste that much better. The bottlers then sell, distribute, and merchandise Coca-Cola to retail stores, restaurants, and vending machines throughout the world. How often do you see vending machines anymore? Anyways, the Coca-Cola company also sells concentrate for soda fountains of major restaurants and food services distributors. Okay, now, this is an obvious one. Okay, you can't go to McDonald's and get a can of Coke. No. You get it from the fountain, which apparently is not that sanitary, but at the same time, it saves a lot of money. That's it. It's all about saving a buck. And it doesn't taste as good too. And that's why you don't ask for a lot of ice when you go to these restaurants, because it's already flooded with shit. Forget it. The Coca-Cola company has, on occasion, introduced other Coca-Cola drinks under the Coke name. The most common of these is Diet Coke, along with others including caffeine-free Coca-Cola, which is almost like having alcohol-free beer. I don't know what's the point. Diet Coke, caffeine-free, like I said. Coca-Cola Zero, sugar, Coca-Cola Cherry, Coca-Cola Vanilla, and special versions with lemon, lime, and coffee. Wait, what? Coffee? They have Coca-Cola coffee now? Oh, shit. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that'll keep you up for 10 days. Anyways, based on Interbrand's Best Global Brand study of 2015, Coca-Cola was the world's third most valuable brand after Apple and Google. In 2013, Coke products were sold in over 200 countries worldwide, with consumers drinking more than 1.8 billion company beverage servings each day. Coca-Cola ranked number 87 in 2018 Fortune 500 lists of the largest United States corporations by total revenue. Wow. Okay, so you got one company who, will find you anything on the internet. You got another company, they make phones that cost about $20 for, over 1,000. That's on the low end, by the way. And then you got another company who literally all they had to do was find some water and some sugar, some food dye, of course, and just mix it all in, add a little of the beautiful carbonation, and there you go. It's that simple, guys. I don't know how they created this so simply, but it says right here, I'm sorry. Confederate Colonel John Pemberton, who was wounded in the American Civil War and became addicted to morphine, began a quest to find a substitute for the problematic drug. In 1885, Pemberton's Eagle Drug and Chemical House, a drugstore in Columbus, Georgia, he registered Pemberton's French wine Coca Nerve Tonic. Pemberton's tonic may have been inspired by the formidable success of Vin Mariani, a French Corsican Coca wine. But his recipe additionally included the African cola nut, the beverage's source of caffeine. It is also worth noting that a Spanish drink called Cola Coca was presented at a contest in Philadelphia in 1885, a year before the official birth of Coca-Cola. The rights for this Spanish drink were bought by Coca-Cola in 1953. I've said this before, guys, and I'll say it again. If you can't beat them, buy them. In 1886, when Atlanta and Fulton County passed prohibition legislation, Pemberton responded by developing Coca-Cola, a non-alcoholic version of Pemberton's French wine Coca. It was marketed as Coca-Cola, the temperance drink, which appealed to many people as the temperance movement enjoyed wide support during this time. The first sales were at Jacob's Pharmacy in Atlanta, Georgia, on May 8, 1886, where it initially sold for 5 cents a glass. Drugstore soda fountains were popular in the United States at the time due to the belief that carbonated water was good for the health. Sure. Anyways, and Pemberton's new drink was marketed and sold as a patent medicine. Pemberton claiming it a cure for many diseases, including morphine addiction, indigestion, nerve disorders, headaches, and impotence. Pemberton ran the first advertisement for the beverage on May 29th of the same year in the Atlanta Journal. Okay, well, I think we've learned that it doesn't cure any of this shit. If anything, it probably causes a lot of this shit. But yeah, again, that hasn't been proven. Again, guys, there's no magic medicine in Coca-Cola. You know, you got to keep in mind, this is back in the day. A lot of these guys were known as snake oil salesmen. That whole term basically means they're selling some shit in a bottle. You don't know what it is, but they say somehow it cures cancer. It doesn't, guys. It doesn't. Just enjoy the taste of it. Diet Coke. By 1888, 3 versions of Coca-Cola, sold by 3 separate businesses, were on the market. A co-partnership had been formed on January 14th, 1888, between Pemberton and 4 Atlanta businessmen: J.C. Mayfield, A.O. Murphy, C.O. Malaka, and E.H. Bloodworth. Not codified by any signed document. A verbal statement given by Asa Candler years later asserted under testimony that he had acquired a stake in Pemberton's company as early as 1887. John Pemberton declared that the name Coca-Cola belonged to his son, Charlie, but the other 2 manufacturers could continue to use the formula. Is there any business in the States that wasn't stolen by anyone else? I mean, it just seems like every fucking business I come to, you know, it's just like this is always the story. Someone had an idea and they ripped it off, and then there's a verbal listen, guys, again, I've said this once, I'm going to say this a million times. There's no such thing as a verbal contract. You got to have that shit in writing, okay? So God only knows how much money this guy lost, or these people have lost. You know, it's like those 2 brothers that originally ran McDonald's. I mean, that's a story for another time, but I mean, that's just crazy. You know, get shit in writing. Anyways, Charlie Pemberton's record of control over Coca-Cola was the underlining factor that allowed for him to participate as a major shareholder in the March 1888 Coca-Cola Company Incorporation, filing made in his father's place. Charlie's exclusive control over Coca-Cola became a continual thorn in Asa Candler's side. Candler's oldest son, Charlie Howard Candler, authored a book in 1950, published by Emory University. In this definitive biography about his father, Candler specifically states, on April 14th, 1888, the young druggist Asa Griggs Candler purchased a 1/3 interest in the formula of an almost completely unknown proprietary exilier known as Coca-Cola. The deal was actually between John Pemberton's son, Charlie, and Walker, Chandler and Company, with John Pemberton acting as co-signer for his son. For $50 down and $500 in 30 days, Walker, Chandler, and Company obtained all of the 1/3 interest in the Coca-Cola company that Charlie held, all while Charlie still held on to the name. After the April 14th deal, on April 17th, 1888, 1/2 of Walker Dozier interest shares were acquired by Chandler for an additional $750. This might be, I don't know, other than the Manhattan Project there, this might be one of the worst deals in human history. Wow. I mean, again, back then they didn't know what they had. They really didn't. I mean, they had the name. It's catchy. Coca-Cola, from the nut there, whatever. It was a cool name, cool little logo there, Like even the logo itself, like I've always heard that the first C, where it loops under Coca, and if you turn it upside down, it's supposed to be like a face, like sniffing coke, because at one time it did contain a little bit of cocaine. That's right, folks. Coca-Cola actually contains cocaine. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Keeps you up. Maybe it still does. Maybe some accidentally drops in there on a late shift. I don't know. I'm just joking around, guys. I'm just joking. I mean, that would never happen, But all I'm saying is these guys definitely got ripped off, And yeah, again, a lot of people have these great ideas and they have no idea what they have until someone else takes it with a fresh face and just makes it their own. And you can't go anywhere without seeing a Coca-Cola logo. I mean, nowhere. Like where? I mean, like in movies, TV shows, it's everywhere. You go to a store, you see the sign there. They do that on purpose, guys. They give the stores fridges that say Coca-Cola on there. Why? Because it's just free advertisement for them. You ever watch a movie? You ever watch a Michael Bay movie? You see some shit in the background. It's not there by accident. It's there on purpose. They're advertising Coca-Cola, even if it's a truck going by or a car chase, and all of a sudden they go through a big trailer full of Coca-Cola, and then there's brown shit everywhere. Yeah, it's just free advertisement. Well, it's not free. I mean, they got to pay for it, but still, people watch that movie 10 years from now and be like, I would like a Coke right now. This would be perfect. So there you go. It's that simple. It's all about advertising, guys. That's all it is. Water, sugar, advertise. That's it. It's that simple. And you know what? I keep harping on, the whole water, sugar, water thing. But you know what? We're all hooked. Everybody's hooked on that one magical drug. And that drug is sugar. And if you take the average size can of Coke, it's basically filled, from the bottom, let's say about 30% sugar. Like it's filled right at the bottom, like a classic Coke, not that dyed Coke, but, the normal cocaine, the normal Coca-Colas, it's got that much sugar in it. And we're all hooked. Sure, you can only have one, but no, we want more. We want those extra large pops, with the soda and the fountain, and it's magical. It really is. It gets you that sugar rush you need to get through the day, So you could say that Coca-Cola is nothing but bad for this society and creating more people with diabetes and heart problems. But at the same time, it's our fault, guys. It's our fault. We got no one to blame but ourselves. So just keep in mind that when you're drinking this delicious product, with your rum or Jack Daniels or just with some beautiful shaved cube ice, just remember, try to stick to one. Just one. Think of it like a dessert, almost. But then again, how hard is it not to have a couple pops when you're having a beautiful slice of pizza? It's hard, right? I mean, does it taste as good with water? Really? No, it doesn't. You and I both know that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that beautiful symbol of Coca-Cola, it just represents that magical taste, that is the perfect combination with carbs and cola. It's just beautiful. And that logo is pretty much being the same. I mean, they've changed, their can and their logo over the years. And, I don't know, like every year they advertise Santa Claus on the can there. And, he seems to be getting thinner for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe he switched the diet. But still, I mean, the logo is still the same. It's one of the most recognizable brands of all time. And ladies and gentlemen, I still have time to fill up this podcast a lot. I still got to get to where I used to work at Coca-Cola and the shit I went through there. But you know what? Before we do that, before we end on a weird note, I'm going to get to some awesome facts. Why? Because there's only a few people that listen to this. Fuck it. 3.1 of all beverages consumed around the world are Coca-Cola products. I want to repeat that again. 3.1% of the beverages consumed around the world, not just North America, not South America, not Australia, the world, are all Coca-Cola products. That's insane. It says here, 55 billion servings of all kinds of beverages drunk each day, other than water. 1.7 billion are Coca-Cola trademarked licensed drinks. I'm in the wrong business. I mean, again, who was, I already talked about who it was, but I'm just saying, I mean, to take some water and to take some sugar and just make it that's awesome. I mean, it's not awesome. I mean, yeah. I mean, that makes them a couple bucks for sure. And one thing I've heard about Coca-Cola as well, I just want to throw this in there, because I don't know if it's going to be in these facts, but, fuck it. Dasani is made by Coca-Cola, as far as I know. They also make Evian. Evian is great. Evian is, if you get a nice cold glass of Evian water, it's beautiful. But for some reason, if you get a bottle of Dasani, no offense, it kind of tastes like the name. I mean, it is just absolutely horrible. It tastes like tap water. And then years later, what does Coca-Cola do? They admit it's just tap water. That's all it is. Might as well save a couple bucks. Why filter it? Just put it in the bottle. Put it in a cool blue bottle. Give it a cool name that nobody knows what the fuck it means. But it tastes horrible. Yeah, and that's the reason why. It is simply tap water. Just want to throw that out there. Okay? I'm going to stick to my Brita. But I'm just saying, in general, just, stay away from Dasani. Coke makes so many different beverages that if you drank one per day, it would take you over 9 years to try them all. What? Coca-Cola has a product portfolio of more than 3,500 beverages and 500 brands, spanning from sodas to energy drinks to soy-based drinks. I remember years ago when there was Gatorade and it was everywhere, and every NBA player was there, and it was made out of that like nice glass bottle. It was getting energy for sports. With a classy glass bottle you could recycle after. Why not? Now it's in plastic. Everything's in plastic now. Nobody gives a shit anymore. It's worse for the environment. Blah 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 blah. And then what did Coca-Cola do? You know what? We got to compete against these guys. We're gonna make not Gatorade. We're gonna make Powerade, because it's that much more powerful. I still like the taste of Gatorade better. I'm not gonna lie. I think it just tastes better. It is what it is. But yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there. I don't know why. Coca-Cola's $35.1 billion in revenue makes it the 84th largest economy in the world, just ahead of Costa Rica. Now, we mentioned this before. It's a juggernaut. No one's going to stop this shit. You know, it's like the NFL, you know. I mean, and nobody can stop it. It's just, you know, don't bother. The Coca-Cola brand is worth an estimated $74 billion, more than Budweiser, Pepsi, Starbucks, and Red Bull combined. That's insane. That's insane. I'm not going to lie to you. Out of these 5 drinks, I would prefer to drink Coca-Cola. I'm Canadian. I'm not a big fan of Budweiser. Coca-Cola does taste better than Pepsi. Absolutely. I don't care. I took that challenge back in the day. I think it was like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Tab. Yeah, like, I don't know. That kind of dates me. But anyways, Starbucks, not a big fan of their coffee. Although they do have a beautiful pumpkin spice, whatever the fuck, on during Halloween, whatever. It's nice. And Red Bull. Yeah, I don't know. To this day, I still have no idea what Red Bull is. I mean, it's supposed to give you more energy. You know, I don't know. Like people just assume like if something comes in a small can and and you put like energy drink on it, it's good for you. It does actually provide energy. You know, it won't turn your piss into oil. I don't know, but the Coca-Cola brand is worth $74 billion. Again, just water, sugar. That's simple. Although Coca-Cola revenue was 38% less than Pepsi companies last year, Coke generated more in soft drink revenue, around $28 billion versus $12 billion. So again, you know, I don't know if Coca-Cola is just doing it just to rub it in Pepsi's face. I remember back in the day when Pepsi first came out, oh, it's Generation Next, oh, it's the new young cola, blah, blah, blah. Nobody gives a fuck, okay? Once people are set in their ways, you know, they're going to keep drinking Coca-Cola. Again, like I said, I prefer the taste of Coca-Cola. I was told at one point that the Canadian Coca-Cola was 160 calories per can. Then it went down to 130 because the States were 130 for a long time. For some reason, the Canadian Coca-Cola had more sugar in it. I don't know why. I don't know. It explains why it tasted way better. I still think it tastes better, you know. I don't know. In every drop of Coca-Cola ever produced were put in 8-ounce bottles and laid end to end. They would reach the moon and back over 2,000 times. This is a pointless fact. Yeah. If you stacked up Coke's 2.8 million vending machines, they would take up 150.2 million cubic feet of space, the size of 4 Empire State Buildings. Coca-Cola, we get it, okay? You're a juggernaut. Every time, you know, we see red, we think of you. We get it, man. You know, like you take up a lot of space. You know, you are the McDonald's of drinks. We get it. Even McDonald's has your brand. The #1 fast food, I'm assuming it's still #1. I don't know. I mean, what is there? McDonald's every 5 minutes away from each other in North America. I'm just saying, even they have Coca-Cola products. So the #1 fast food place that everyone thinks of. Again, it's got red, white. You know, they mix in a little yellow there for the arches. Boom, that's it. They support Coca-Cola. Even they know they got to support the #1 cola of all time. The red and white Coca-Cola logo is recognized by 94% of the world's population. No shit. It is burned in our memories forever. Again, they always say in advertisement when you have some kind of product, they always say, was it the prime colors? So like colors like yellow, red, they always just catch the eye. For some reason, they just trigger something. You know, they make us thirsty or hungry. They just trigger something in the mind. So yeah, you know, red is a very distinctive color, you know. It stands out. Of course, people aren't going to forget. There are 33 non-alcoholic brands that generate over $1 billion in revenue. Coca-Cola owns a whopping 15 of them. As you can see from this picture, they got vitamin water, Fanta, Minute Maid, Powerade, like I said before. The list goes on. I even heard that Coca-Cola owns Cadbury, which, for those of you who don't know, is a delicious chocolate factory. No Charlie there, but it is just magical. So again, the juggernaut does not stop. It just keeps going. Around the world, the average person consumes a Coke product every 4 days. I'm pretty sure in North America, I would probably say it's every 4 hours. I mean, we are just getting fatter and fatter and fatter. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a diabetic. I don't drink as many sugar pops as I used to. I can't believe I just called it sugar pops. But anyways, you know what I'm talking about, right? Right? Okay. I stick to more Coke Zero these days. Again, that's not good, you know. But then again, I heard a thing where Halle Berry drinks like 12 Diet Dr. Peppers a day. If she can look that good, maybe I can too. That's what I'm hoping for. But the point is, it's a lot of sugar to consume. You know, just take it in little by little. That's all. Coca-Cola spends more money on advertising than Microsoft and Apple combined. That I believe. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. You always see a Coca-Cola commercial at least once during the Super Bowl. Obviously, they got to, people know that it's out there, but they got to remind people, especially when you're at a bar. Ooh, what am I going to have with my fries? Coke. What am I going to have mixed with my Jack Daniels and rum? Coke. You know? It's there. You know, they just want to remind you. Although for some reason, I'm not going to lie to you, they seem to be the worst commercials. I don't know, they're just like illustrations, and I always said this with Super Bowl commercials. You know, just make them like either funny or make them really funny. You know, just something that someone or something can remember. Just anything, you know. I mean, I get it, you know, the whole illustration thing. You want to make it cool and everything, put money into it, but try to make it funny. You know, get a celebrity in there and just say, you know, some shit, you know, like, hey, I'm a celebrity. I drink Coca-Cola. Why? Because it tastes so good. All right. He could use another hit movie, but moving on. Americans ingest 1.7 million tons, or 10.8 pounds per person, of sugar each year from Coca-Cola alone. Now it's showing me a little picture here. You got a can of Coke. It has, let's do some counting here with my finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 11 cubes worth. The bottle, looks like the liter bottle, has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, about 17, and yeah, a little bit there, okay. And the 2-liter bottle just kicks both their asses by almost twice as much. You know, it's a lot of sugar, guys. You know, you buy anything, the first thing you're gonna see is either sugar or gloss, whatever the fuck it's called. It's sugar. It doesn't matter. You know, it's gonna take forever to break down your body. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how the body works. You know, I'm like Homer Simpson. Food goes in here. That's it. You know, hopefully it's not painful when it comes out. All I'm saying is, you know, just watch your sugar intake, you know, have a diet one once in a while, live a little. The average Mexican drinks more Coke products than the average American, British, Indian, and Chinese combined. That's got to be bullshit. I don't believe that at all. There's no way, you know, no, I don't believe that. I really don't. It says on average, Mexicans drink 665 servings of Coke products each year. Americans drink 399, British 202, Chinese 32, and Indian 9, which comes out to 642 servings. I don't believe it. Americans are fat as fuck. Canadians are fat as fuck. I'm not buying any of this shit. And I just want to point out, by the way, that they're showing a picture on this website here. He's holding a bunch of Cokes, selling them, but on his shirt it says Corona. So just, yeah. Coke uses 300,000 tons of aluminum for its cans every year, just for its US operations. That's equal to 17.4% of what the entire US aluminum industry produces. Holy fuck. Yeah, yeah. And I'll tell you something else too. Again, I worked at a Coca-Cola plant. I'm gonna get into that a little bit. But again, I noticed over the years, they put less plastic. Like, I remember when you grab like a 2 liter, like, I remember you grab a 2 liter at a store and you're like, I can hold it in one hand. And, obviously I still can, but I'm just saying, like, it wasn't as flimsy. Now it's very flimsy. Like, even the cap on top, it's less plastic. You used to, like, cover it, like the Sky Dome or something. It just, I don't know. Yeah, and the same thing with the aluminum. Like, it's thinner. You could tell, like, they've, figured out, okay, we don't want the, we want to save money, but we don't want the shit to explode in someone's face. So, let's save a couple bucks here. So, but still, yeah, they still need a lot of it. Coca-Cola sells more than 1,000 kinds of juice drinks, including Simply, Minute Maid, Fruitopia, High C, Fuse, and Ode Walla. I've never even heard of what's Ode Walla? What is that? Okay. What do I know about juice? Anyway, yeah. Again, they try to cover every market. Every market. Remember they used to have just original Oreos? Plain old Oreos. You got one black biscuit, you got the cream, the other black biscuit. That's it. How many more different Oreos are there today? You just got to expand, that's all. And same thing with Coca-Cola. They got the Powerade, they got the energy drinks, they got the juice. Just expand. It's more money. That's all it is. More money, more plastic, blah, blah, blah. Now, we learned a lot of things today. Even I learned a lot of things today. If you're ever in Atlanta one day, that's where the history museum, whatever, of Coca-Cola is. Go there, check it out. I'm sure they'll give you a free sample or two. Tell you where they won't give you a free sample is Coca-Cola. I mean, they will, if you work there. They're nice enough now to give you one can to test out there. I mean, sorry guys. I mean, like I said, like I used to work for this company, and yeah, it was just. You ever work a job and like you literally just feel your soul getting sucked out of you, and like you don't want to work there for the rest of your life, but for the time being, you're just trying to make the best of it. I mean, for me, that's what it was like working at Coca-Cola. So let me just go through the whole thing here. All right. Was I the best employee? Of course not. I got a podcast called the Malaka. Of course I wasn't, but I wasn't the worst either. So basically this is what happened. In my area, there was a Coca-Cola plant. And I figured, you know what? Let's work there. Make some money. Why not? Let's take advantage. So that's what I did. And I didn't work there full-time, part-time. It's almost impossible to get into there full-time. I'm going to explain that logic, because every time I try to explain it to somebody, I don't know, their head just explodes. But I'll get into that in a little bit. So, you work an average shift there, and at the time they had production there. Now, what I mean by that is they actually made the Coca-Cola there, okay? And then for a while they didn't, they just distributed it to stores, and then eventually, like everything else in this world, it became a Costco. So, working there was all right, it was decent money for its time, gets very noisy in there. You got to wear the plugs. You got to wear those earmuffs, whatever. I mean, you would go insane there working for 8 hours. I mean, you still hear the sound, So what I did, I would just have my little earplug and just, listen to my good old cassette player. Again, I'm dating myself. But it was a nice one. It was a nice Panasonic, metal one, whatever. And yeah, just, the time would go by pretty smoothly. You're either on line 1 or you're on line 2. You're either doing cans or you're doing bottles. You put the things on the conveyor belt, go. Put more on the conveyor belt, go. Guess what comes next? You put more on the conveyor belt, and then it goes. That's it. very repetitive, just something to do during the summer. Of course, there's nothing else to do during the night shift, So, of course, we smoke some weed and just, let the time pass us. And that's it. It's just your average job. Back in the day, I'd listen to my comedy albums, Dave Chappelle, Killing Them Softly, classic. Still one of the best comedians of all time. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. So then a year passed, they didn't want me. I don't know why it happened. I mean, did I not sound like the perfect employee? So then the next year went by, applied again. Oh, I got it again. Excellent. So, but now it's different. They don't make Coca-Cola there anymore. So now they just distribute it. So the whole point of this is we got trained there. And, with the pump trucks, whatever. If you don't know what a pump truck is, it's basically a motorized pump cart, that helps you lift up all these, wooden panels of whatever products you got on there. I'm sure you guys have gone to a Shoppers Drug Mart late at night to buy chips and condoms, and you see a whole bunch of rows filled with skids of products. That's what we did, but instead of diapers, it was Coca-Cola. So we got trained, basic stuff, just the basics, with the pump truck. They would set up pylons for us. We all passed, written test, the pump truck test. Although one person did not pass the pump truck test. Again, I don't mean to sound racist or nothing like that. It was a Chinese guy. He had trouble working it for some reason. After that day, we never saw him again. Again, I don't want to sound like the guy that got fired from Saturday Night Live. I'm just saying, fill in the blanks there if you want. I'm just saying, shit happens. Who knows? The point is, afterwards, we all got the job, and this is where it gets complicated. So, to get full time with this work, I can't even. I'm going to do my best here, so just bear with me. Okay, so let's say, for example, you start January 1st, okay? So that week you work. I mean, for the most part, we filled in for, afternoon shifts, midnights, guys that didn't show up, holidays, shit like that, You got to get a certain amount of days, within a year to make union. If not, then you lose days. See, some of you are already confused. So am I. So basically, let's say this. You start January 1st. You get, I don't know, let's say you work 3 days that week. Okay? So that counts as 3 days, obviously. Next week, you get 4, and then 5, so blah, 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 blah. Then you add it up. So I believe at the time, I forgot the exact number, but let's just say you had to get 150 days within a course of a year, which is almost impossible. I mean, some guys did do it. I think they were more favored. Again, you had to get more days. It's who you know there. You know how it is, guys. But anyways, so, I did not have enough days. So what happens is, so let's say the next year, January 1st. So let's say that first week, January 1st, I got 3 days. So let's say if the next week of a year later, I get only 2 days. That means I lose a day. So let's say, for example, at the end of the year, I only had 130 days. So because I lost 1 day of the week last year, it goes down to whatever, like 129 or something. Again, my head's already, gonna explode right now, just trying to explain this shit. And every time I do explain to someone, it just, they just like, you ever see like an image of that thing that goes in the water, it dips, and then it dips out, then it dips in, then it dips out. Like that's, yeah, or you see the monkey, doing the tambourine there. Yeah, it's just like, I mean, like you're basically, your mind goes blank. So again, like to this day, I never made union because of that reason, and it was almost impossible to do that. It really was, because you just lost days. Like I've never seen any company ran like that. It just blows my mind still to this day. It really does. I've asked other companies, other major companies, nobody ever runs shit like that. And yeah. Oh, yeah, I was just like, fuck it. I'm just glad to get days, whatever. So, Like I said, they don't make the Coca-Cola there anymore. Put the stuff on the skid. So what you do is you have a card, you swipe it in this magical machine, and it just gives you orders. So like 10 of this, 5 of that, blah, 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 whatever. 6-pack of this, 12 of this, 24 of this, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it was good pay for the time. I wasn't paying much rent, God only knows. And, yeah, you go up and down the aisles, whatever, and just put the product, you put it on the machine, you wrap it up, or you can hand wrap it yourself. If it's a small little thing, it's not worth it, for the time, whatever. And that's it. I mean, it was that simple, wash, rinse, repeat. And, yeah, again, it was just a job to me. It really was. I mean, I didn't have any interest in making this my career. It was most of the times I didn't want to be there. Your feet would kill after a shift if you did not have the right shoes. I mean, like when you do shit like that, don't wear steel toe boots. Don't. You just you won't make it like 2 days. But make sure you got comfortable shoes. I remember one time I was like slicing the plastic off one of the skids, and it hit one of the bottles like very lightly, and the thing just fucking popped in my ear, man. And like I literally went deaf for like 10 seconds. I was like freaking out, but then it just went back again. And all I'm saying, guys, is be careful. That's all. But it was a great bunch of guys there. I mean, it had nothing to do with the people there. I mean, the people there were great. Like, I mean, half the people there were probably like, a lot of them were ex-bikers. A lot of these guys were just like old school, shooting the shit, whatever. It was great. It was really awesome. I mean, it was a good bunch of dudes there, I mean, those days in the summer were brutal. I'm not going to lie. I mean, like, it could be like 50 degrees inside. It was like a furnace, I mean, they gave us water. It was the sunny, fuck, how I feel about that. But anyways, yeah. And, of course, there's people in your life that will always choose to rock the boat and, make something so simple, like a simple job, complicated. And there was a guy there, and he was, hired from, a manager who, was obviously his dad, because there's no way this guy could function in the real world, without the, proper, just he wasn't the brightest bulb of the bunch. Let's just say that, and unfortunately, this guy would just fuck up again and again and again. Like, we had a machine there, and this is how nice it was to work there. Like, we had a fountain machine there. We get free Coke products all the time. They even had another machine there, a couple machines there. You get a can of Coke for 25 cents, ball for 50. This Malakias, he would literally open like a 24 case of like an energy drink and just take a warm drink out of the case and just leave the other 23 there, And we would just tell him, like, dude, you're going to get us all in shit. We all see what you're doing, but he wouldn't care. He would do this all the time. All the time. I mean, you're doing this to save, what, 50 cents? And it's piss warm. Have you ever had a piss warm energy drink? I mean, I feel bad for people that drink energy drinks on a regular basis cold, but still, I mean, like, it can't be good, man, And, he just wasn't the brightest bulb. And, we tried everything to, like, kind of, tell him, like, don't fuck up, whatever. And, like, a lot of times, look, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, there was one shift there. This is way back in the day. I worked on a weird day or something, like a Sunday afternoon or something, where nobody was in the plant. They told me I had to clean up boxes. At one point, I was done cleaning the boxes in 10 minutes. I literally took like a 3-hour shit. I literally just disappeared for 3 hours in the bathroom. And I mean, I literally fell asleep on the toilet. Again, I'm not the best employee. I get it. But again, I didn't give a shit about this job. I really didn't. And it's like, when you're younger, you don't see these things. And when you grow up, you're like, I should have done better. But sometimes you're like, fuck it, who cares? The point is, I was older and you know better. You really do. And like, you got a decent job, and why are you fucking up like this? Why? And we tell him all the time, like he would talk back to people too, and just, you know, whatever happened to just plain stupid? Now everyone's got a disability, just some people are just plain dumb. Like there's no fixing it. And, there's one shift where it was lunchtime, whatever. And we go out to lunch, whatever, and I didn't want him coming with us. I don't know, but we felt bad. I don't know, it's like a lost puppy, whatever. So, he comes with us, whatever. And of course, you don't wear your best shit at work. I'm wearing old t-shirts, old shorts, whatever, because I don't want to mess up my shit. Worst case, you get stains or whatever. Who cares? It's old shit. And he's like ripping on my clothes. He's, at one point, he's just talking shit about me and other people. And people that know me, I can only keep my mouth shut for so long. I am a stubborn motherfucker. I still think the Leafs are going to win the playoffs this year. I don't give a fuck what you people say. The point is, it got to a point where we were in the car, or in the one buddy's car there. I'm in the back. He's beside me there. And he's just talking shit. And I just look at him. I go, look, nobody likes you here. You're one of the stupidest motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. Who gives a shit what I wear? Okay, you're lucky to have this job. Okay, you're lucky they don't make you wear a helmet while you work. And he just steam was coming out of his ears. Like he just got so fucking pissed. And at one point, we're still talking, and I've gone to many arguments in my life, but I've never, like, you watch these old cartoons and they're like they're right in each other's faces and their nose are touching. That's what we were doing. Like our noses were touching, and it's like both of us were just waiting for like one of us to make the next move, whatever, or someone just touch and go, oh, you touch me, okay, now I can punch you, and that shit goes down. But for legal purposes, and I'm right in his face. I'm just saying, look, you got to shape up. I'm just going on and on and on. I'm like, dude, you're just stupid. Like there's no easy way to say it. The guys are laughing in the front of the car, and then of course the lunch is over. We go in there. He starts talking all this shit. I mean, oh my God, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that, about me. And he's yelling in the plant. Like, everyone's like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy, And at one point, I went to the bathroom. I come back. There was like a broken case in front of my pump truck, and I'm just like, throwing all this away. At one point, I just like, I didn't whip a can at him. I just tossed it to him and just say, hey, you forgot something, and whatever. And like, yeah, I know he did it, whatever, Keep in mind, this is the same guy who, and I hand to God, I told people this at the plant too, and no one believes me. I must be one of these people. I consider myself a good listener, and it got to a point where like he just basically confessed to me all this shit. Like he said when he was younger, he was with his friend, and he got into a fight with this homeless person, and the way the homeless person fell back, he was paralyzed, and he died 2 days later, and it was a whole thing. And you can tell that I think this is one of these things that just always haunted him and whatever, and it was a whole thing with this guy. And of course, got up to management, whatever, and it just, and long story short, guys, I ended up losing my job. Yeah, and he was able to keep his job, But keep in mind, again, his father was in management. And I said it before, and I'll say it again, guys. It's a lot of times it's pretty much about who you know and who can protect your stupid ass. Even before that, I worked a shift. I left early because I was sick. I left a note saying, I don't remember exactly what it said. I said something like, I can't do this anymore. I have to leave. Now, the way it was worded, I just learned never put anything in writing. This is why I don't like Twitter and shit like that, because, once you put something in writing, it means what it means in print, Like, if you say something, like, fuck off, you could say, like, oh, you're jokingly. But if you say fuck off in print, that's what it means. So for weeks, I didn't get a call, and they thought I quit. Then I had to go through the whole thing there. They had to hire lawyers from my side and their side. And, like it was funny at one point because they rented a hotel. The one guy said, oh, this cost the company like $5,000 for the day or something just for this. And they're all talking to each other afterwards. I'm like, guys, aren't you supposed to be on my side? Like, what's going on? Like, why are you talking to the enemy here? But again, they're all in the same management. Like they don't give a shit. Who cares? I mean, they're all getting paid, whatever. And then one guy just basically told me, look, I mean, you could fight it and say, okay, they have to pay you for all the days they miss giving to you. I was young, you know what? Back then, I regret not fighting it more, but I just said, fuck it, just give me back my job, and there you go. So that was stupid of me. That's one thing I learned through Coca-Cola is never put anything in writing. And two, dealing with this Malakias, don't deal with Malakias. Don't try to not work with stupid people, and don't let them bring you down. The irony is that this guy got fired. I think I heard like a couple months later because he actually did get caught like stealing products, and I mean, yeah. Again, not the brightest person in the bunch, but what can you do? That's life. Did I want to make a career out of this? Absolutely not. The company moved since then. Like I said, it became a Costco. What's done is done. What are you going to do? But I will say this, though, about Coca-Cola. And every time I drink a Coca-Cola, I don't mean to, sound all, smart at this point now, I don't mean to go psychological on you guys, but one thing happened when I was going through that whole first process of the note thing. The two guys that helped me, that were part of Coca-Cola that represented me. I mean, the one guy looked like Jeff Foxworthy. I'm not going to lie. I mean, they're both great guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying what they look like. I don't know why. Just trying to paint the picture here. Trying to be an artist here. So he looked like Jeff Foxworthy. The other guy, he looked like just a hippie. Like he had like the bandana just across his forehead, long hair. Kind of looked like a Willie Nelson in like 1971 or something like that. And at one point, I went to his house because I had to talk about like the situation and all that, and it was really early in the morning, and people that know me, I fucking hate mornings, and yeah, like at one point, like we're just talking, his wife is about to leave for work, and it was a really sweet moment, like they, I'm not saying I didn't grow up with like no love or nothing like that, but at one point. They like hugged each other goodbye. They're like, oh, I miss you, I love you, so I'll talk to you later. But they hugged for a good like 5 seconds, and that's a long time for a hug. I mean, think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I said to myself right after that, I said, through all the bullshit I went through so far with Coca-Cola, and even like afterwards, it was like, it was worth it just to see that. And again, this has really nothing to do with Coca-Cola, but it's just something I'll always remember Coca-Cola for. It's like worst case scenario. I can always look back at that and say, you know what? I want that one day. I want that for myself, And it's funny, like a lot of people always have like different memories of Coca-Cola, They remember growing up and drinking it, when they're at soccer practice, or, a lot of people just remember even more recently, a couple years ago with the ending of Mad Men, that he's the one that created that classic Coca-Cola commercial, but for the most part, every time I remember Coca-Cola now, I will always think of that moment, so I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like, I don't hold any grudges against Coca-Cola. I will say this, though. I don't like how they took away free cases every week. Then it was every month. Certain people were entitled to Rolexes after 30 years of working there. Then all of a sudden it was gone. Guys, if management ever hears this from me, all I'm going to say is this. You have no idea how great your employees are. Like, I worked with a great bunch of guys, hardworking motherfuckers, don't take away shit from them, And if a new product comes out, don't insult them by giving them a free can of the product. Give them a whole fucking case, guys. I mean, come on. Like, even if they reject it, like what the fuck is a can, man? Come on. Treat your employees with respect. Listen to them, and I guarantee you they will always give you the straight answer, especially the group of guys I worked with. It was pretty old school. So, like I said, I will always think of that moment, that beautiful, lovely, romantic moment every time I think of Coca-Cola. And because of that, I'm no longer just seeing red.